U.S. Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat California, unleashed massive criticism of Jim Jordan Wednesday afternoon, accusing the House Judiciary Committee chairman of working solely for Donald Trump. In his opening remarks of a Judiciary subcommittee hearing, Swalwell, the ranking member, slammed Jordan for refusing to comply with a legal subpoena issued by the U.S. House Select Committee on the January 6 attack, and criticized the subcommittee for holding a hearing, not on gun violence and mass shootings, but on what the California Democrats said was issues to help the ex-president. Congressman Swalwell blasted Jordan and his committee to obstruct justice on a wide range of issues, including obstructing justice, ordering a district attorney to commit a felony, and lying that Attorney General Merrick Garland labeled parents domestic terrorists. Well, here we are. Another partners meeting of Insurrection LLC, Swalwell said as he began his remarks. That's what this is. This is the newly formed largest law firm in Washington, D.C. Only has one client, maybe a second client that we're going to learn about today, but that client is former President Donald Trump. Their job, he said, referring to Jordan's Judiciary Committee, subcommittees, and his controversial subcommittee of the weaponization of the federal government, is to litigate every one of Trump's petty grievances. It's now 321 days since this subpoena was sent to Jim Jordan, that he did not comply with, Swalwell said, pointing to a large blown-up copy of the subpoena, with the word subpoena enlarged exponentially. So it's comical that we are here today, under Jim Jordan's leadership, asking people why they don't want to comply with subpoenas. The guy won't comply with the one that was sent to him 321 days ago, witness to a crime, the crime that has led to more arrests than any investigation in America, Swalwell observed, referring to the January 6 prosecutions. He's a witness being asked to do his patriotic duty and respond to a subpoena 321 days later, refuses. Also, since the last hearing of this committee to obstruct justice, Chairman Jordan is now interfering in an independent criminal prosecution. There's an investigation in Manhattan, also in Atlanta, also at the Department of Justice, into the former president, and Jim Jordan has sent a letter to the independently elected District Attorney Alvin Bragg of Manhattan. He is asking Alvin Bragg to commit a felony. Why is he asking Alvin Bragg to commit a felony? To help Donald Trump. Why is it a felony? Because if Alvin Bragg were to turn over what Jim Jordan is asking of him, Bragg would be violating New York law that says you cannot turn over grand jury proceedings, but that's what they're asking them to do. Again, the law doesn't matter if your client is Donald Trump. The other day Jim Jordan was asked, well, what do you think of the former president who put out on Truth Social the other day, essentially in another call to action? A January 6-like post. When the former president said this posting, Jim Jordan was presented with this post by the former president that calls for death and destruction. And Mr. Jordan said that he would need his glasses. He was looking the other way. Jim Jordan looking the other way. Well, we have blown up on the screen and we've put it right here, and I'll leave it for Jim Jordan. This is what Donald Trump said, Mr. Jordan, Swalwell said, reading the president's social media post. What kind of person can charge another person? In this case, it former president of the United States who got more votes than any sitting president in history and leading candidate by far for the Republican Party nomination with the crime when it is known by all that no crime has been committed, and also known that potential death and destruction and such a false charge can be catastrophic for our country. Why and who would do such a thing? Only a degenerate psychopath that truly hates the USA. Again, I'm gonna leave this up here in probably 200 font. So Mr. Jordan doesn't need his glasses to read it, Swalwell added, referring to news that Jordan recently refused to comment on a Trump social media post, claiming he first hadn't read it, then when a reporter showed it to him, Jordan said he couldn't read it because he didn't have his glasses. The same individual who posted this also posted this photo. There you go, Donald Trump. Real tough guy holding a baseball bat, next to a picture of that independent prosecutor that Jim Jordan wants to commit a felony, Alvin Bragg. But you won't hear from this committee to obstruct justice any condemnation of what Donald Trump posted. They can't condemn him. They can't. So in their silence, they condone it. And in these posts from Donald Trump, he incites more and more Americans to commit violence, like a woman who was arrested yesterday, near Times Square, with a knife seeking to carry out an act of violence in Donald Trump's name. Swalwell blasted Chairman Jordan for repeatedly falsely claiming that Attorney General Merrick Garland had labeled parents speaking at school board meetings domestic terrorists, a lie made by many Republicans and conservatives. No parent has a right to threaten a school board volunteer. If a threat is brought to the FBI, it's their duty to investigate those threats. We've also learned from all the document production from DOJ and the FBI in the Department of Education, that there is not one instance where the Department of Justice called any parent or a group of parents domestic terrorists, as has been claimed by Jim Jordan. And he criticized House Republicans, who, under Jim Jordan, had posted a tweet in support of Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Kanye West. It's also about a tweet that Jim Jordan posted back in the fall. Kanye. Elon. Trump. Now, after that tweet was posted, Kanye said he's going to declare DEFCON 3 on the Jews. The tweet stayed up for months. Everyone was like, "Hey guys, turns out your hero Kanye West hates the Jews. We all stand with Israel. Please take down the tweet." They didn't take down the tweet. They kept the tweet up. Day after day. Jewish community, they're hurting, they say, please don't put this tweet up. It stays up. He also blasted the GOP for holding hearings with witnesses they invited who are anti-police, despite their motto of backing the blue. Last week, we had a hearing where you could call anyone in America when you have the majority, the power of a subpoena. We had a hearing about the ATF. These guys brought a witness who had just recently tweeted, "Fuck cops." Cops. That's what this guy tweeted. Anyone on earth could have come to that hearing, and they brought someone that said, "Fuck cops." Then one of their colleagues, this is what she's selling on her social media, defund the FBI. So we went from backing the blue to backing the coup. Swalwell concluded his remarks by slamming the committee for doing nothing to reduce gun violence in the wake of Monday's school mass shooting. So we'll waste our time today on this exercise on behalf of Donald Trump and perhaps Elon Musk, but everyone on their side is going to have to go home this weekend to their constituents, and their constituents are going to ask them one question. 3 little babies died this week in a school in Nashville. No other committee in Congress has jurisdiction to do something about that except this committee. So you're on the Judiciary Committee. 3 kids are dead. They're gonna be buried this week. What did you do about it? Did you show up to the Judiciary Committee and fight for those kids? Or did you show up and fight for Donald Trump? They showed up to the first hearing after Nashville, and they're fighting for Donald Trump.